Let's get serious for a moment. What if I told you Post Malone wasn't who you thought he was? What if he wasn't actually a trap rapper? What if instead he was a drug-addled singer-songwriter? Well, he still is considered a trap rapper at heart, and in his production, and in his vocal delivery. Post Malone heavily relies on other genres to make his hooks and melodies stick in your mind. So on his sophomore release, Post makes a clear-cut distinction between himself and his fellow contemporaries, ensuring his elite status in the hip-hop scene of today. Yeah, it's not just the facial tattoos that get him attention. Hey there, welcome back to True North Reviews. My name is Ryan, and today we're going to be discerning ourselves with the new Post Malone record, Beerbongs, and Bentleys. Some people might refer to him as White Iverson, Post, Posty, based on his Instagram account, or possibly even Culture Vulture, as yes, he sure is a white rapper. But while I couldn't care less about the race of the artist, what I do care about is the thing that matters, the music. On his debut album, Stoney, many of the tracks on that kind of flew over my head. I really never got what Post was going for on that, and I couldn't really get on the same page with him. And I really think that's due to how difficult it is to sort apart the artists that are singing and rapping. Like, it's not much of an authentic feat to be doing this today. We have artists like Drake, The Weeknd, heck, even Ed Sheeran doing his own rendition as well. However, those three artists that I did mention there do have their own kind of brand or style. And the brand is the key term here, and I feel like Post Malone has established his own trademark sound with Beerbongs and Bentleys. So much so I feel like I'm finally able to distinguish between the mumble rappers and the whiny R&B singers. But the highest compliment I can give Post Malone is the development of an influence on future artists. Not only will his chart-topping records be an influence for years to come, but with Beerbongs and Bentleys, Post successfully improves on many fronts and elements all across the board, namely vocal performances, melodic construction, the forms to the songs, and more of a hard rock production influence added to the trap kind of atmosphere. The opening track, Paranoid, flawlessly introduces us to the introspective and untrusting nature of Austin Richard Post. And the song's lyrics are clever and deeper than what they appear. The third verse acknowledges how Post Malone is attempting to give himself a little bit of space from the fans that are out to get him, yet he's still aware of the fact that he's slowly killing himself the more that he worries. Getting no sleep, wanting to see everything like he's Edward Snowden. There's really no backing away from the discovery of truth on this song, and Paranoid is a gripping start to this record that is complemented with catchy sonic elements too. The next cut, Spoil My Night, featuring Sway Lee, is a big dip in quality for this record, no matter how much I love that line about beautiful boobies. It's really just the dreary keyboard that fails to push this song into interesting territory, so I feel like this song is a throwaway unless you're in the club atmosphere with your friends. The other tracks that were purely meant for pre-parties in the club are Takin Shots, Rockstar, and Ball For Me. The first of the three, arguably the worst, since it has to live up to the tall order of being compared to the number one single, Rockstar. But even without that comparison, I feel like this song is just too generic to be remembered. Like, the only worthwhile part to Taking Shots is the tongue rolls being bathed in what I like to call the Post Malone auto-tune effect. Essentially just a lot of vibrato and wavering vocals. What's frustrating for only a couple of songs on this record is the surface level lyrics about alcohol and sex with the staccato flows, but that's really only limited to Taking Shots and another song called Same Bitches. But back to the positive remarks, I still believe the other two tracks I mentioned earlier are hard-hitting and highly effective as music, Rockstar and Ball For Me. Rockstar being the earliest teaser track for Beerbongs and Bentleys, it has an interesting lyrical concept to go along with it about rappers coming in to replace the old era rock stars. And as much as my passion for music growing up was based on rock music, I do appreciate and respect the passing of the torch to the presiding mainstream genre of rap. Like, either way, mainstream music is going to have a lot of great music, and it's going to have a lot of garbage too, so it really doesn't matter which one is the dominating genre. What truly matters is that we have a lot of great online services to help us search for music that we want to hear. Well, unless you're on Apple Music, and then you just discover that the entire front page is all Drake. That's kind of hard to avoid some days. Tangent aside, I do appreciate Post Malone. I vibe with his music, and I do think he has a great influence for future rappers and singers. And I genuinely mean that. He creatively mixes the best features of rap and hard rock even on Beerbongs and Bentleys, as it is an interesting avenue for him to go down and explore, especially on the song Over Now. Yeah, real drums and real bass are on this song, and it's really good. On this excellent track, Post Malone is unapologetic, he's aggressive, and he's very confident with what he's saying at the end of this relationship. But he never fails to see the other side of the story as well, as he does admit that he has some things to work on. And this contradiction is definitely notable on the cut Blame It On Me, as Post is caught up in the hurricanes of his mind. He's caught up in the middle of a rock and a hard place over top of dark and moody R&B instrumentals with signature vibrato. Preceding Blame It On Me is the lone acoustic track on this project called Stay, and it's the quintessential display of Post Malone's guitar abilities. Getting his early music influence from Guitar Hero and being in a heavy metal band, it really doesn't surprise me how great this song is. Seriously, one of the best entries in his discography yet for chord progressions, his versatile vocals, actually sounding a bit more natural without as much auto-tune, and extremely relatable for the majority of his fan base and what his target market is. Speaking of relatable, I bet you all know the following tracks: Psycho, 92 Explorer, and Better Now. The pop trap crossover on these songs is hypnotically catchy, and each of them has its own merit to the high value of them in 2018. 92 Explorer and Psycho being the more summery and remarkably blissful and bubbly tracks in the production department. The former being particularly glossy and absorbing for its unique percussion and seaside vibe. The latter being treated with calm and soothing sounds and an enthralling aura. And let's not forget the inescapable hit song of Better Now for its lo-fi chugging guitars and peppy trap beat. At times the song feels like it could be considered genreless, as Post Malone has called his music at times. Either way, it's a great song, another peak in artistic achievement and individuality, all thanks to the relatable lyrics of being treated poorly in a relationship. Preach, we've all been there and done that. And now just some quick comments about some of the other songs on the track listing I want to talk about. Those are Rich and Sad, Zack and Codeine, and Sugar Wraith. The first of those, Rich and Sad, is exceptionally easy to empathize with, even though I'm not rich. Zack and Codeine, where's Mr. Mosby at? Nah, it's a good song, don't worry. And the closing track, Sugar Wraith, another great song with an impeccable vocal performance, teamed up with a cool instrumental to drive home the melody. So overall, Beerbongs and Bentleys is a strong addition to the Post Malone discography. It's a definite improvement over the predecessor, and ultimately it winds up being one of the better records of the year, probably being a big influence for new artists to come in the future. Sure, it has its flaws in its composition, so I had to hold myself back from giving this a really good score or rating, but if I cut out the songs I didn't really like, I could feel myself giving it a 9 out of 10, but as a whole, I can't go any higher than an 8 out of 10. So those are my thoughts on Beerbongs and Bentleys. Now I want to hear from you. Sound off down below in the comments. Agree or disagree. I'm here to engage with you guys. Like, comment, subscribe, and share. My name is Ryan from True North Reviews. And as always, have a rockin' day. Thanks for watching.